I drove into a town that didn't exist, and it said my name before I stopped the car. I was on a back road after midnight because that's what I do when I can't sleep. I drive. I put on talk radio low, roll the window a crack for the cold air, and I just go. It used to be with my brother next to me. He'd pick stations, argue about snacks, fall asleep with his mouth open. After he disappeared, I kept the habit. It felt like I was still moving toward him somehow. That night I turned off the highway to avoid construction. The sky was clear. No moon. There was fog lying low over the ditches. My phone map said I was on County 7, but the blue dot floated off the line sometimes and then jumped back like a fish. It was one of those roads that just stays straight too long and messes with your sense of distance. I saw the glow first. Like a town ahead, but wrong. The color was too clean. Neon. A thin kind. Flickering, the way it does when it wants your attention. I slowed. There was a sign with no name that just said open in a tall, narrow font and an arrow. I didn't recognize that type of sign from anywhere near home, and I've been everywhere nearby. The radio gave a little pop and went to static, and then my voice came out of it. "Don't panic," my voice said. "You're fine. Check the time. It's 12:07. I glanced at the dashboard. 12:07. I said, "What?" out loud and punched the radio off. I sat there with both hands tight on the wheel, engine idling, the dash light soft on my knuckles. I told myself I was tired, and radio towers do weird crossovers at night, and some caller probably sounded like me. I said that out loud too, because that's how I keep myself from spinning out. I said, "You're tired. You're dumb. It's fine." Then I took the turn. I don't know why. Maybe I wanted a coffee. Maybe I was annoyed enough at being spooked that I had to show myself there was nothing there. The town was small. A main street that curved like a smile. A gas station on the corner with the price stuck on numbers that didn't make sense. $2, something like that, frozen forever. A diner with a lit jukebox you could see through the window. A clock tower at the far end with its face lit from within like an eye. No cars. No people. But the lights were on, and the neon buzzed, and the jukebox in the diner played a song I knew. It was some old track my brother liked to play to bug me. That dumb one with the clapping and the whistling. I stood there on the sidewalk looking through the glass at the empty stools, and that song went on, and my stomach dropped the way it does when you miss a step in the dark. There was a bulletin board next to the diner door, the kind with thumbtacks and faded flyers. But the papers were crisp. Typed. At the top, someone had written in thick marker, "For visitors after 12. Beneath it were rules. I read them. You would have too. They were short. Stuff like, "Don't turn around when the song changes. Don't follow the lights when they go. Answer the phone if it's your voice. Don't read the last one." My mouth went dry. I looked at the last line without really looking. It was just a smear of black. I couldn't tell if it was words. My name was not on the paper then. I remember that. I would have noticed. "Hello," I called, because that's what people do. You call out. You give the empty room a chance to be reasonable. The jukebox changed tracks. The hair on the back of my neck stood up. I stared straight ahead and didn't turn around. I didn't want to test the rule. The song now was a slow one. A love song. I reached for the diner door and paused because the metal was too cold. Then I pushed in. A bell over the door made that soft two-note sound. It smelled like coffee and lemon cleaner. There were sugar packets arranged in perfect pyramids. I said hello twice and listened to the hum. A payphone by the restrooms rang once and stopped. Then it rang again. Short rings. Like it was polite about it. I walked to it with my hands out like I was calming a dog. "Hello," I said. There was a tiny hiss. Then me. "Hey," my voice said. "It's okay. Don't go back to the car yet. Check under the counter. There's a map. It redraws. You'll need it." "Who is this?" The question came out high and dumb. "Me," the voice said, annoyed, like I'd been late to something. "You. The time on your phone is 12:10, right?" I looked. 12:10. I said nothing. "Take the map," the voice said. "Pay in cash. Keep the receipt. It'll help. Then go to the gas station and try to leave. You won't. You have to try anyway." It hung up. I stood there while the jukebox spun the love song and then clicked. My heart hit my ribs hard a few times. I did what I was told because that's who I am. I listen to directions even if the person giving them is me and insane. Under the counter there was a stack of paper maps like in old glove boxes. A black marker sat beside them. The top map had a little arrow drawn. "You are here." I took it and $2 out of my wallet and left them by the register. I said, "Thank you," because I felt watched. On the way out, I checked the bulletin board again. It looked exactly the same. I hadn't touched it. I could swear my name wasn't there. When I turned, I kept my head steady. I didn't want to test the music rule. I got to the door. Outside, the street looked softer, like my eyes had gone a little weird. The neon above the door flickered. You know that flicker that's almost a strobe? It made my shadow fat and thin and fat. I walked to the gas station. The door chimed. The clerk wasn't there. No one was. But the pump light said ready. I picked up the nozzle, put it back. It thunked. I put it back again and it stayed. The receipt slot had paper sticking out. I took it. The receipt had a timestamp, 12:17 a.m. But my phone was still on 12:12. I checked the date. It looked like tonight, but the numbers swam. I rubbed my eyes. I left a 10 on the counter for the map. I called out that I'd be back. I don't know why. I walked to my car. I got in. It started. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding, which is a thing people say, and it's true. I drove down the street toward the far end, away from the clock tower, because it creeped me out. The road curved, and then the gas station was in front of me again. The same pump lights, the same frozen price. The neon open sign hiccuped and then burned steady. I swore. I hit the steering wheel with my palm. It hurt. I turned around, went the other way, slower. I counted turns. I took the second left, then a right where there was a pharmacy with the jelly beans in the window. I focused. I made it 3 blocks. 4. The clock tower stayed to my right like a needle. I got to the edge of town, a line of dark trees, and then the gas station was in front of me again. The car dinged at me like I had left my lights on. I pulled over. I put my forehead on the steering wheel. I laughed a little, and then I sat still until that went away. I opened the map. Thin paper. Black lines. The town was a loop. That's what it seemed like. Main. First. Second. All curling back toward the gas station, with the tower marked by a star. As I watched, a new line drew itself in thin ink from the gas station to a little square labeled square. I didn't see the pen. It was like the line appeared, left to right, slow. My stomach flipped again. "This is impossible," I said. I took a picture with my phone. The camera took forever, like it was trying to focus through water. When the image showed up, the line wasn't there yet. Then I looked back at the map and another little arrow appeared that said, "Try again. You have to." I said, okay, like I was calming myself. I folded the map wrong, badly, in the rush, and the paper wrinkled. I backed out. I went toward where the new line had told me. I did the turns. It didn't matter. The gas station opened its mouth and spit me back onto its forecourt like the town was chewing me. The bulletin board had changed. I don't know when. I got out, left the car running because I didn't trust it to start again, and I walked to the diner. My name was there now. It said, "Welcome, Matt." Then, new rules beneath it, different ones. Don't go under the tower until you hear the second chime. Read only what you need. He's okay. Don't run to him yet. I put my hand on the glass. It ghosted over with my fingertips. I pressed harder. I wanted to crack it. I wanted to shove the board down and see who was behind it. I whispered, "If this is a joke, it's cruel." Something tiny shifted in the dust on the sidewalk behind me. I felt it like a prickle. I turned fast, and there were footprints where there hadn't been. They were my shoes. They were damp, dark prints, stepping one after another, coming up the sidewalk toward me. Behind, where I had just been. I couldn't see my own shoes make them. Ahead of me, nothing. Behind me, my steps appeared like I was being followed by the me from a second ago, catching up slow. I walked away. Smooth, slow, like I wasn't bothered. The prints followed. I tested it. I stepped to the right, put my foot down only once. I counted to 5. A print showed up to my right, where I had stepped, but later. I bent down and touched the edge of it. It was damp, like it had rained on just that patch. I wiped my fingers on my jeans. "Okay," I said to no one. "Okay." The payphone at the gas station rang. I didn't want to answer because the rule said answer if it's your voice, and I wasn't sure I wanted to hear me again. It rang. It rang. I picked up. "Look in the lost and found at the diner," my voice said. "Bottom of the bin. Don't take anything yet. Just look." Just look. I hung up hard enough for the bell inside the phone to shiver. I walked back. The jukebox was still going. The song changed. I didn't turn. I went behind the counter. There was a plastic bin labeled "Lost" with tape. Inside were scarves and a set of keys with a gummy bear on the ring and a kid's shoe with a light in the heel that didn't light anymore. Underneath was a baseball cap, dark blue, dirty. The bill bent the way Eli wore it, not how I told him to wear it. There was a small burn mark on top from where he'd singed it, lighting fireworks with his friends when he was 15. I know it was the same mark. I picked it up and put it against my chest. Then I put it back because I was told to look, not take. I stood there for a full minute, breathing slow because I was going to cry and I didn't want to cry here. I felt guilty, which was a dumb thing in that moment, but I did. For letting him get in that car with those kids. For not going with him. For everything after, when my mom shut down and my dad stopped sleeping and I took care of forms and police visits and all of it. How I wanted to leave it and go for a drive at night because the house was too loud with silence. "Hey," my voice said, not from a phone this time, not from the radio, but right above my shoulder like I had snuck up on myself. I flinched and put my hand on the counter to steady. The sound had come from the ceiling speaker. "Listen, there's an offer. You already know. Don't pretend you don't." Lights along Main flickered in a line. I could see them through the window. One after another going dark, starting from the far end, like someone running their fingers along switches. The dark moved slowly, like it wanted me to see where it was headed. It was coming from the tower, straight down toward me. When it hit half the street, the jukebox hiccuped and restarted. The bulletin board paper fluttered like there was wind inside it, and the last line that had been black smear sharpened enough for me to catch a word. Stay. I grabbed the map, the receipt, and the cap, because screw it, and I jammed them into my coat. I went outside. The line of dead streetlights had reached the square. Far off, the clock tower made a sound. Not a chime yet, just the clunk the gears make when they get ready. I didn't know clocks did that. Maybe they don't. This one does. I ran then. Rules be damned. I don't expect you to think that's smart. It wasn't. But it felt like the only way to take control was to move first. My foot hit a crack in the pavement. I slid a bit and pushed off. The darkness came behind me in a sweep like a wave. The lights ahead were still on. I aimed for them. A payphone on the corner rang once. Then again, faster and faster until the rings blurred into a single mad sound. I skidded by it. "What?" I yelled without picking it up. "What do you want?" "Second chime," my voice said, nice and calm, from everywhere. "Don't miss it. If you go too early, it won't stick." You know that. We tried. We tried. That cut me. It meant I had been here already. It meant the footprints made sense. My head hurt. My thoughts shed details like my pockets were full of holes. I tried to remember Eli's voice and got the shape of it, not the sound. I said his name out loud so I wouldn't lose it. "Eli," I said. "Eli." The square opened up around me. Benches. A fountain that wasn't on. A statue of something abstract that looked like a knot. The clock tower rose from the far side. Up close, it was brick with a narrow door at the base. As I cut across, the receipts in my pocket crinkled. I pulled them out and smoothed one as I ran. The timestamp said 12:23. My phone said 12:20. The clock hands on the tower face said 12:2-something, and they weren't moving. Everything was wrong and yet lined up with itself in a way that made me want to lie down and sleep. Chime. A pure tone that went through my ribs. Not loud, just exact. First chime. The neon went dark in a circle from the diner trickling out. The jukebox cut. The order of it all made my skin crawl. Like the town had breath and pulse and it was controlling blood flow. Second chime, I muttered. Like that would conjure it. I put my hand on the tower door. It was locked. Of course. I patted my pockets. Map. Receipt. Cap. Keys to my car. Nothing else. The map. When I unfolded it there on the steps with my palms sweating black onto the edges, drew a dot in the corner labeled key. The dot was at the gas station. The most boring, inevitable place. I shouted something that wasn't words. I ran back, legs burning. Streetlights behind me popped out. One ahead flickered twice and steadied. They were playing with me, hurting me. You can say it. I won't argue. I looked at the cement and saw my prints appear as I watched, delayed. The idea that the me behind could catch me passed like a cold breeze over under my coat. I got to the gas station. The counter had a little metal dish where you make change. Inside was a big old brass key I had not noticed, flat, with teeth like a cartoon. A paper ring taped to it said tower. I laughed. I tried to stop. I couldn't. It took me 4 seconds standing there to pull myself together. Then I grabbed the key and almost dropped it because it was colder than I expected. Chime. Second chime. Exactly when I put my hand back on the door. It vibrated a little. The key slid in like it knew the way. It clicked, and the door opened inward. Inside, the air was different. Cooler, but not like outside cooler. Like a basement. Stone walls. Tight spiral stairs. Grease on the handrail. I went up 2 at a time and then at 1 because I got dizzy. The sound of the clock guts above me ticked slow and thick, like a heartbeat in molasses. My hand came away greasy and black and wiped it on my jeans. The cap knocked against my side in my coat, and I touched it like a talisman. Halfway up, a phone on the wall rang. I swear, a wall phone in the tower. I pressed the handset to my ear without thinking. You have to decide at the top, I said to myself, breathless. If you stay, he comes out. If you leave, you forget both. You will forget both. You already know you can. You already did. Why? I asked. Why me? Why him? It felt like I was pleading with an answering machine. I didn't even wait to hear more. I hung up and kept moving because the third chime was coming. I could feel it. At the top, there was a hatch and then a little square room with the clockwork big as a cow, gears slow, slipping teeth, making that arranged sound. The face glass was a huge milky disc on the far wall. In the center of the floor was a chair. On the chair were objects. A ring of keys with a gummy bear, a scarf, a kid's shoe, the cap from the bin, and a photograph. The photograph was of me and Eli at a ball game, sun too bright, both of us squinting. I didn't know the person who had taken it. I forgot the name of the team. That scared me worse than anything. Eli? I said. My voice hit the glass face and came back soft. The third chime hadn't come yet. The second had faded. The air padding held still, waiting. Something moved behind the clock face. A shadow shape. Boy-sized. It pressed close and the milky glass went gray with it. It was like he was outside the face somehow, between glass and night. He put his hand to the glass. I put mine where his was. Cold. Then his hand was warmer. Then I could see a face. Distorted. The way faces look through shower doors. It was him. The old him. 15 forever. Hair under a cap. Grin off to one side. He was looking past me like there was someone else to check on. Like there always used to be. I don't understand, I said. I cried without moving my mouth, which is a weird thing to say, but you can do it. Your face stays almost normal and then tears out of nowhere. Do you want to come home? It felt like a dumb question the second I asked it. Of course he did, but also maybe not. Maybe this is where he had been, and what was home anymore? The gears clunked into place. The space filled with the idea of sound before it existed. I looked at the chair, the objects, the cap that was mine now. I looked at the hatch. I could run. I could go down. I could go out into the square, get in my car, point it at the dark, and I bet you anything the town would let me go then, if I was choosing leave. I would drive until the fuel light blinked. I would get to some 24-hour place, get a coffee, hands shaking, and by dawn I would remember that my childhood had been quiet and my brother had been imaginary, or a dog, or that I'd always been an only child. The whole would seal over. We are good at healing wrong. Or I could stay. Sit on the chair. Pick up one of the things. Let the town wrap around me like a room you only see in a certain kind of night. Another chime building. The town breathing in. I'm sorry, I said to him. I don't know which choice I was apologizing for in that second. All of them, maybe. Mom would want me to. She wants both impossible things. I sat. The wood of the chair was smooth. The receipt slid out of my pocket, flapped once, then lay still. I picked up the cap. I can still feel the way it weighed in my hands. Light, but like saying yes to something not light at all. The third chime hit. It rolled me. It had that feeling of time settling around a decision. I put the cap on my head. It was too small. It hurt my forehead. The clock face went clear. Not perfectly, but enough. He stepped through it like it was a curtain. He was real. Weight on the little bitty floor made of old boards. The clock complained under us. He looked exactly like he had in the photo, down to the scab on his knuckle from the dumb fight he had the week he vanished. He looked at me and blinked. His mouth opened a little. "Matt?" he said. His voice. Exactly right. I started to laugh and sob like someone behind a couch in a bad movie. I touched his arm. Warm. Then the fourth chime hit, and it wasn't like the others. It was this slipping note that felt like a trap closing. The hatch behind me swung on its own and slammed. The key in my pocket leaned heavy, like a magnet found a wall. The lights in the town all at once went on, off, once, and then settled. He hugged me. I hugged him. His heartbeat was fast. I didn't want to let go. I didn't. But I had to pull back because I got a cramp in my neck leaning into him, and that was such a human, stupid thing in the middle of magic that it almost made me giddy. I said, "You're okay. You're okay." He nodded like he didn't trust it. "Where are we?" he asked. "Middle of nowhere," I said. "At night." He tried the hatch. It didn't open. He looked at me, panic flooding in like he'd only just let himself have it. "No," he said. "No, no, no." "It's okay," I said. I believed it. That's the thing. I really did. I still do, most minutes. We can phone them. They'll know us. He looked out the glass face and saw nothing that made sense. He pressed his palms to the glass and left prints. He wiped them off with his sleeve like he was going to get in trouble for that. The clock took a breath. You know what I mean? By now. It breathed. The fifth chime came, smaller, inside. The tower wanted me then. Not him. Me. I felt it. I put my hand on the wall and it felt like it put its hand on mine back. I don't think you want the next little bit in detail. It wasn't bloody or anything. It was just long. A sort of enrollment. The town made room for me. It wrote my name under the rules on the board in a way that wouldn't wash out. It put my voice in the phones and radios, like a program. When people come now, on their wrong roads after 12, I talk to them in that tired way I have. I warn them not to turn around when the song changes. I tell them to check the map. I tell them the gas station loops. I tell them things I wish someone had told me in time to do anything else. Maybe there wasn't anything else. We got the hatch open before dawn. It only opens then, I learned, when the town is about to wink. We walked down and out into the square, and the air felt different, like it laughed in our faces. We walked to the edge, and the trees pressed up and we pushed through like leaving a pool, and we were on a different back road than the one I'd come in on. Eli looked at the stars like they'd moved. We tried to go home. The car started. He sat in the passenger seat, touching everything like a little kid, like it was new because it was. He put his head out the window and inhaled the world. I watched him in the rear view. I couldn't stop. At the T intersection, my phone vibrated. It was my mom calling. I showed him. He put his hand over his mouth. I pressed accept and said, "Mom?" And she said my name like she'd just learned how to say it. I pulled over before I crashed us both. By the time we got to the house, it was early morning. The sun turned everything pink. People on the street were taking out their trash, like that mattered. My mom opened the door and her knees almost went, and we got her to the couch and then everything blurred, as it should. We took him to a doctor. We took him to the police. There were questions I couldn't answer without saying things that make men write your name on forms with a certain kind of face. He was there. That's the important thing. He was there. He ate cereal on the porch. He watched movies he missed. He slept a lot. He would not go out at night. He'd stand in the hallway at midnight and listen to the quiet, and then go to bed with his pillow over his head. I tried to do the same, but I can't sleep like that anymore. I drive. Or I sit in my car in the driveway and watch my phone tick toward 12. Here's the consequence part. After midnight, sometimes I'm not in the house. That's just how it is now. I am with the town. It needs a resident. That's the bargain. It needed someone to answer the phones and draw the lines and make sure the map ends where it should. It needed someone to walk ahead so the footprints behind have somewhere to go. Parts of me are there from 12 to dawn. I don't know where there is exactly. It's not far. Sometimes the neon buzz shows up on the lawn for a breath, and then gone. The dog from across the street doesn't bark at my car anymore after midnight. Maybe I smell like the place. During the day, I'm here. I can mow the lawn and burn the toast and go buy sugar and come back with the wrong kind. I am me in all the dumb ways I always was. In the night, I am me in a different way. I wear a jacket that smells like lemon cleaner and Old Rain. I have grease on my hand and a key in my pocket that weighs heavy. I forget the town when the sun is up. I do. Not every day, but enough. My brain protects me. It's like a scab you shouldn't pick, but you can't help picking at. Sometimes something on the radio pings me, some tone or cadence, and my chest fills with gray and I can't remember what I was doing. Then I check the time and it's just past 11 and everything comes back like a tide. I tried to go back before midnight once. I drove out to that road at 10, thinking maybe I could see it in the daylight. The trees were just trees. The arrow sign was there, but it said detour and pointed the other way. I laughed. I hate that I laugh now. Funny isn't the word. It's more like a reflex my body found for when fear would be too much. Do I regret it? Sometimes, in the thin part of the night, when I hear the clunk of the gears and I know someone out there is reading rules and looking at their hands and trying to make sense of their own voice coming out of ugly old machines. I wish I had driven away that first minute and let the hole in me scab over the old way. But then a few steps in the hallway down the hall tell me my brother is thinking about getting a glass of water, and he knocks softly on my half-open door like he always used to when he was after something. "Holy wait a laces." And I say, "Yeah?" And he says, "Nothing," and he goes back to bed. The price is the price. Sometimes the town is quiet. Sometimes it's busy. I have heard the footsteps of just me behind me, and of me and someone else when that someone else made a different choice. I have heard my own voice on the radio so far ahead of me it made my skin feel like paper. Sometimes the bulletin board writes nice things. Sometimes it writes things I don't want to read, and I don't. The last line is always a smear, for me. Maybe for you it won't be. Maybe that's the torque the place gives each person. I haven't told my mom about it fully. I say I go for a drive and she looks at me in a way that means she knows I'm leaving something out, and she forgives me for it because she wants to keep what we have without breaking the rest. She puts her hand on Eli's shoulder when she walks past him like she did when he was little. He shrugs it off like he's too cool, but he leans into the place where her hand was after she's gone, so soft you wouldn't see it unless you were watching. I am telling you this now because it's late, and you asked why I don't answer my phone sometimes at night, and I started to say I was tired, and then I decided I wanted someone else to know, just one person who wasn't in the house. It makes it feel more real. It makes me feel less like a trick. If you ever take a road at midnight and the map gets slippery, and the lights in the distance feel too thin, and you see a board that says visitors after 12, you can trust the voice on the phone. It's mine. It's tired, but it's kind. If the clock starts, listen for the second chime. Don't go too early. Don't turn when the song changes. Don't read the last line if it looks like a trap. If you make a choice, be certain, as much as anyone can be certain at that hour. I'll be there. I won't come out to you. I'll stay on the other end of things like a brother who learned late how to be steady. When the chimes line up and the lights do that breath, you'll feel the offer lay itself on your shoulders. You'll know what you brought into town and what it wants to take. The clock is about to start. I can hear it from here, the clunk before the note. My phone ticks to 12:01 and then doesn't. The neon in my head goes on. I push back my chair. It's time. Don't just sit there. Subscribe. Hit like. That's how you show me you're still out there. Do it now, before the next story starts without you. See you in the next one.